David said, is it really true that men aren't allowed to wear hats in church? Does the scripture say this? Please explain why or why not.
No.
Before you give your full thought on that, because I don't know. Definitely check out Mike Winger. Mike Winger exhausted these texts in a series, Women in Ministry. Not sure if he touched the men wearing hats deal, but I know he definitely touched on a bigger text that's around there. Women keep silent in the church. He breaks that down wonderfully. The majority of it. So I definitely would suggest you check that out for further questions around that. But go for it, PD. You said no. Why?
Because there's no scripture to support what you got on your head in terms of a hat. I don't see. Yeah. I grew up in a church where they were like, you can't wear jeans, women can't wear jeans, you had to wear a dress and it had to be beneath your knees and all this other kind of good stuff. And the fact of the matter is, you guys, is that God's after people's hearts, not their hats or their jeans. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. There's no scripture that says thou shalt not wear a hat. If it is, somebody show me, please. Men shall. We made up a lot of stuff in Christianity for ourselves to control certain aspects of things, to look holy. And we're constantly trying to work on the outside of us when God is constantly dealing with the inside of us. Our Christianity is an inside out job. Christianity is an inside job. And it is not an outward. So your outward appearance, let me take you to this one right here. I think it's 2 Samuel 17. 1 Samuel 17. Let me just take you to this real quick. I think it's 1 Samuel, maybe. So yeah, 1 Samuel 17, believe it is. God sends his prophet to David's father's house to find the next king. They're parading all of the brothers through the crib, all of them. They all coming through. Hey, they're like this. He gotta be the homie. Looking at me, big, tall, strapping, all his outward appearance. And the man of God simply says to them, hey, hold up for a second. God does not look on the outward appearance of man, but on his heart. He then asks his father, is there another boy that you have not brought to me? Because even the father himself was like, he looks the part. And God was after the little dirty, rugged boy that was on the backside of the desert dealing with the sheep, because he had a heart after God. It is not all of these outward appearances and expressions that God is after. We have created all of these things. I'm gonna tell you, I went to church with some hood deacons. These Negroes would fight you, like for real, after church in the parking lot. Say all kinds of stuff. You cuss you out, all this other kind of stuff. But they was up in the church with them black suits on and them white gloves. Won't you come while the blood is still running warm in your veins? Won't you come, Jesus? This is your chance to come to God, lest you fall out and die. This is some of the meanest people I ever met in my life, man. Meanest people I ever met in my life. And they looked the part. Nice black suit, nice white gloves, shiny black shoes, deacon such and such with the toothpick. Brother, I got this toothpick in my mouth. Listen, man. Heart jacked up. Heart jacked up. Meanest, unloving, ungrateful, unkind, impatient, foul-mouthed, womanizing dudes I ever saw in my life. I grew up with all of these dudes. I really did. And then I got to Jesus. I had to wade through all of that, y'all, to get to Jesus. And when I left, they was like, oh, he don't get it. He don't get it. No, I was leaving all of that. Don't wear this, don't wear that, don't do this, to get to Jesus. Who is Jesus? That's what I wanted. So anyway, my answer.
No, that's beautiful. So I think he might be talking about 1 Corinthians 11:7. Paul says, "For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is in the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory of the man." So,
What's the context in that, Greg?
right, that's what I was thinking. And so, for the context, he says, well, I'm gonna just read it real quick.
Yeah.
So again, well, remember the audience who he's talking to is Corinth. So Corinth has been out of order for some time, okay, in more areas than one. But here in chapter 11, verse 1, he says, be ye followers of me, even as I am of Christ. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ. Oh, okay. And the head of the woman is the man. And the head of Christ is God. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonors his head. Oh, okay. So verse 2, right, or verse 3 says that the head of every man is Christ. And now he's coming in verse 4, having his head covered, dishonors his head. So I don't believe that this is speaking of a hat per se.
It is not.
I think this is speaking of something else other than Christ.
Bam!
That he's covered in.
Bam!
Right? So if
Yes,
he
sir.
is not submitted into Christ,
That's
if
right.
he is not following Christ, then okay, he is covering by something else and at the same time dishonoring his head. Okay. And so this is so interesting because what does it mean to dishonor Christ? And especially as he is saying, every man praying or prophesying. So we're talking about somebody who is devoting their life to Christ in some way, shape, or form, who is preaching, teaching, okay, who is literally doing the work, the works of God, I guess you could put, but not necessarily in the sense of earning salvation. We don't want to go that deep. I'm just saying in this context, we're speaking of somebody who is just living their life for God. Okay, so you're getting up and you're trying to lead people, okay, but you're not submitted into him. So what are we doing? Right? So verse 5, I'm gonna keep reading down to the verse. But every woman who prays or prophesies with her head uncovered dishonors her head. Okay. So if she's not submitted to the man who's submitted to Christ in marriage, because this context is coming from marriage,
Now
we have an issue,
there
right?
it is.
And so basically what it's being said is that the man and woman who are together, who are two united, but are not submitted to Christ. If the man's not submitted to Christ, therefore the woman wouldn't be submitted to the man. They are leading out of order. There's an order necessary to lead and pour in and equip the people of Christ. Okay, so I'm gonna just keep moving. Okay. And then it continues to say, for that is even all one as if she were shaven. As if she were shaven. So this is not suggesting that if she has too long hair or if she has a specific covering over her head, this I don't believe that this is what this text is saying. Okay. For that is even all one as if she were shaven. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. Okay. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory of the man. Okay. This context, I do believe, is speaking more towards the understanding of of two individuals who are not submitted to Christ and not submitted to each other. They're out of order when it comes to preaching, prophesying, when it comes to teaching, when it comes to leading, all those kinds of things. And it's a necessity to be submitted to Christ for such to be in the right design and order. So I think oftentimes you'll see this along with, again, if you continue reading in Paul's writings, many will say, hey, yeah, women are to keep silent in the church, so they're not supposed to preach, teach, all that kind of stuff. Like I believe it's taken completely out of context. But the church has ran with it for so long that it's hard for people to become unwired from it. So when they see a woman who's on stage giving a word, they're like, oh, this probably isn't something I should do. But I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't, and I haven't done extreme studies on this. Again, I definitely encourage y'all to go check out Mike Winger. That brother did 3-hour sessions. Okay. If you can stomach an hour a day, 30 minutes a day, whatever the case, definitely dive into that. He pulls everything out, every view, and gives his thoughts on it. I definitely encourage that. But I don't know about y'all, but I have seen some women. I've seen some women give some messages and stand up and give a word, brother, and being more spirit filled than some men who have robes and have their own church grounds.
The issue.
So I don't think you can say that, man. I've seen some women who, I mean, the power of God is with them.
The issue is the title pastor.
Right.
Has nothing to do with can they preach? Can they prophesy? Right? Do they have a message? That's not the concern in those texts.
Yeah.
And yes, Mike Winger does a phenomenal job on that. But the title and pastoring, different things along those lines, that's where the challenges have come in. So
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 1,000. Yeah. But so there you go. You just got a whole Bible study in there right there.
There's some women who I'd rather talk to than some men, brother, because they tuned in. Straight up, I ain't even gonna lie to you. Tuned in. 100%. So
and I'm gonna be so honest, man. I feel so sorry for the blessings you're missing out on if you think a woman is incapable of teaching and preaching the gospel, because there are women like Jackie Hill Perry who are changing the game,
brother.
Women like Priscilla Schreier who are changing the game,
brother.
Just these women of God, okay, that know. I mean, man. Oh man. So and many others who are maybe not as well known but can teach. It don't matter how well you're known, you can teach. You've got a gift. It's the spirit's on you, man. So I mean, I think you would be a fool to suggest such and then be like, man, I don't see the spirit of God on her because she's a woman with a microphone on a pulpit or a stage I don't see where that qualifies in the text. So but that's me.
Do you see how easy it is, everybody, for someone to take 1 Corinthians 11 and just completely take it out of context? It's very clear.
Yeah.
The head of every man is Christ. The head of the wife is her husband.
Right.
The inference there is clear. There shouldn't be another oversight over this man's head, thereby him, free thinking. He is under Christ. And if he's sharing when he's talking, what he's doing, how he's living his life, he's covered by God. He's the head. The wife is covered by the husband. He qualifies it in verse 8. Look at this. In verse 8, he qualifies, for man is not made from woman, but woman from man. Now, Miles Monroe kills this piece right here. If y'all never seen it, you should. Neither was man, right? Neither was man created for woman, but woman for man. You could take this out of context too and be like, that's right. That's what I need. I need it. No. You need help, brother. That's why God created a woman. You need help. You need help. That's what God created her to be, to help your behind. So the reality is that we could take text out of context and then we could just teach it and people be like, I saw it in there too. It's right there in the text. Ain't did no kind of study. Just like that. Straight Ebonics. Ain't did no kind of study.
Yeah.
Got to study so that we are clear on what is being said, who it's being said to, and why it's being said to them. All right. So.
Yeah. And I'm going to give you one last nugget because Paul, as you continue reading from that, you'll read him say again, wives, submit to your husband. And then husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. This is not saying women submit to men.
Uh-oh.
That's right.
This is saying wives, submit to your husband. Your husband. That is a marital covenant under God. Okay?